Welcome everyone, this is your host Abraham El Jaguar, a professional game master. First of all, this channel is proudly sponsored by the Crueltide Pocket Rulebook Kickstarter. In this tabletop RPG, Santa Claus has been captured and you need to rescue him by role-playing as any sort of fantasy creature imaginable. You could be a human with holiday powers, perhaps one of Santa's helpers, an elf, maybe a talking reindeer, or perhaps a gingerbread cookie golem. It's all up to you to restore the holiday cheer. And check out those stretch goals. This channel is also proudly sponsored by Detri Studios, the publishers and developers of Dames of Asstoria, a tabletop role-playing game where you play as monster girls experiencing high adventure in a world that doesn't fully accept them. They have also released the Pay What You Want tabletop RPG Daughters of Lamb, where you get to play as cybernetic nuns with guns, looking for the missing pieces of their AI god. This channel is also proudly sponsored by the Red Room Publishing. Please check out their store for exclusive tabletop RPG products and check out their free tabletop RPG, the Red Roleplaying Game. A generic system that is able to handle any sort of theme, genre, flavor, setting that you can think of. All of the links to these amazing products will be in the description and in the pinned comment as well. Today I am starting my review series featuring the Labyrinth Lord, revised and expanded edition. This is the latest version of Labyrinth Lord, and this is a big deal because Labyrinth Lord is one of the cornerstones of the OSR, the old school renaissance or old school revival. I have enjoyed Labyrinth Lord throughout the years. Even right now, I am running a campaign here in Mexico featuring Labyrinth Lord and Barrow Maze. I've seen many pseudo-clones and retro-clones, those games that took inspiration in greater or lesser degree from old school Dungeons and Dragons, and they have referenced Labyrinth Lord many times as inspiration or as a map to create their own games. So some of you could be thinking, what is new about this revised and expanded edition? Let's start talking about the quality of the PDF. The new stuff. This current edition contains two new classes, the Cyclops and the Brownie. You also have more monsters, expanded play advice, and a new adventure by Polly Kidd. But going deeper into the quality of the PDF, the quality is really good. Everything is well written, organized, explained. The table of contents doesn't have hyperlinks, but you have bookmarks. Bookmarks for the entire book. And I prefer bookmarks to a hyperlinked table of contents because bookmarks are so useful. You have them open on the right side of the screen, well, depending on your PDF reader, right? But in my case, I always have them open and I can easily navigate the entire document. So it is great that bookmarks are included, although they are all spread out and open. You have all the huge list of bookmarks instead of like subcategories and such. So despite that, that is great that you have bookmarks, and with the great organization, the writing, it's going to be very easy for you to navigate the entire PDF. The graphic design is minimalistic, not so much. You do have some embellishments here and there. You have awesome old school black and white illustrations, although you do have a colored front cover and back cover. Overall, the quality is really good. I have no complaints about it. It is great. Now, let's talk about the contents. First, you have a very nice preface telling you about the origins of Labyrinth Lord. It's very interesting from a designer's point of view, but also as a player, as a Labyrinth Lord, as a game master, to see how this tabletop RPG came to be, using the traditions of the past, bringing them to our current times, while preserving that old school aftertaste. I always keep returning to Labyrinth Lord, and this preface is going to give you more details about the years when it came out, the attempts behind it all, etc. Now, then you have an introduction to Labyrinth Lord, and it's also a bit like an attempt to introduce players into tabletop RPGs, but it is a bit lackluster in a few ways, just a few ways. Let's start. Okay, here it says, role-playing games are a unique form of entertainment that allow you to step into the shoes of a hero or villain and explore a rich and immersive world. Remember, you are stepping into the shoes of a hero or villain. You are exploring a rich and immersive world, of course. You are taking action in a game framework. In other words, you are playing a role and you are playing a game. Tabletop role-playing game. Playing a role, playing a game. Perfect, right? But then it says here, role-playing games are a form of collaborative, emergent storytelling. You are not, as I always say in many of my videos, you are not telling stories about your characters. You are not saying, little Billy went into the cave and then he found a chest and then he opened the chest and inside the chest there was a purple sword and then he closed the chest. No. You're playing a role. You're not telling stories about these incredible environments, about the dungeons, about the forests, the valleys, the mountains. No. The game master presents the situation, describing the Labyrinth Lord, describes what you are seeing, what you are hearing, what you are tasting. You are there. You're not telling a story about your characters. You're not the storytelling crap. That's from the White Wolf, old White Wolf, when they tried to separate themselves from Dungeons and Dragons, and they started to say, "No, we are storytellers." No, that was all a marketing gimmick. You are not storytelling in tabletop RPGs unless you can tell a story about the session after it has ended, or you can tell a story within the fiction. Maybe your player character, you're a bard, and approaches the burly-looking bartender, and the bard says, "Hey, have I ever told you the story when the 6 warriors decided to take on the Chaos Dragon of Nasal Furha?" Now you're telling a story, but no, you're not telling a story. You're experiencing the game world as the player characters. This is a very important distinction because a lot of people have spent decades no idea on how to roleplay in tabletop RPGs. And this is because, and I will say it again and again, Gary Gygax didn't know crap about role-playing. He was a great rules organizer, writer, businessman, gamer. But when it comes to, and even that is questionable. You know, that time he rescued Rob Kuntz, Deus Ex Machina. "Oh, Rob Kuntz, you're going to get killed by the whites? Oh, roll a die. Oh, you rolled that? It was all a dream. Your character is whisked away and you are safe." That's how Rob Kuntz survived those many adventures and situations, you're right? So even as a gamer, Gary Gygax is questionable. Dave Arneson was the one who created roleplay in tabletop role-playing games. He never did like a storytelling thing. He's the father of role-playing in tabletop RPGs. You're not telling stories about the characters. Like it says here at the start, you step into the shoes of the hero or the villain. You are exploring a world and it is not going to be immersive. You're telling a story about it. Because it's very different to tell a story about something and actually being there. It is miles, kilometers apart in terms of difference. So yes, apart from that, the introduction does a decent job at getting you into fantasy gaming, but when it comes to role-playing, this is not storytelling. Okay, then you have information on dice and notation. A lot of you are already familiar with When you read a D4, it's a 4-sided die, a D20, it's a 20-sided die, of course. But like I said, there is a bit like a paradox, right? Because there are many terms that are going to assist someone that is completely new to tabletop RPGs, and specifically Dungeons and Dragons inspired tabletop RPGs. But at the same time, they're not telling you what role playing is all about. Playing a role, not telling a story. This is not Raven or Children of the Fall or Steam Build Riders or the Hardy Boys. Those games are hybrid storytelling RPGs. Labyrinth Lord is not that. So you have details, like I said, the definitions of the concepts, the terms. When it comes to creating a character, very simple, very old school. Roll 3 6-sided dice. Add the results together for each attribute. Or you have the optional system of roll 4 6-sided dice and discard the lowest roll. You choose your class. This is Labyrinth Lord. In its standard way, its classes equal species or races. This is not, I'm going to be an elf fighter. This is, you're going to be, well, in this case, in this new version, here the fighting men are known as the fighters, of course. But elves are a separate class. Race, or rather species, as class. You determine your special abilities according to the class that you selected. You roll for hit points. You choose your character alignment. You have your money, and you can purchase weapons and gear with your money. You record your armor class, and you record your attack values and saving throws, and you give your character a name and finishing touches, right? That is perfect. So you have all of the tables telling you all about strength, dexterity, the various modifiers, constitution. A lot of you are already familiar. It's very logical and self-explanatory. Strength has to do with, of course, your physical power. It's going to assist you in melee actions, melee combat. In the case of dexterity, it's about reflexes, balance. So it's going to give you a bonus or a penalty when it comes to your initiative, your ranged attacks. Very self-explanatory, typical attributes, you know, strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Now, when it comes to choosing a class, like I said, here you have character classes that are also species or races. And this concludes this part of the review series. In the next part, we are going to take a look at the different classes / species. I am very happy that they brought this new version of Labyrinth Lord. I don't think a lot of you are going to consider it necessary, but I can tell you right now that the 2 new classes, the monsters, the expanded game material, and the new adventure, of course, are going to make you think again. I really like the Cyclops. When I went through the Cyclops, I want to roleplay as a Cyclops. Or even if I right now I'm running a campaign. I should convince the first player character that dies. I'm going to tell the player, "Hey, would you like to roleplay as a Cyclops?" But yeah, please join me in exploring the rest of this amazing book, the Labyrinth Lord revised and expanded edition. Thank you for watching this part of the review. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, consider joining as a member using the Super Thanks button. Take a look at the information in the description and in the pinned comment. This has been your host, Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master, and remember, it is better to roleplay and fail in character than not to roleplay and fail as a player. Once again, thank you and see you later.